welcome to today's FFS Grow Traffic's Friday Facebook session. We're going a bit meta today, so we're doing a Facebook Live about Facebook Lives. Very postmodern, isn't it? There you go. Eating our own tails here. Right, so we haven't got long. I shall crack on with it. So a few Facebook facts for you. 2.8 billion people in the world are on Facebook. 2.8 billion people. That's an awful lot of people are on Facebook an awful lot of the time. Facebook says that 1.85 billion of those are active daily users. So there are people every single day logging into their Facebook accounts and being active. 15% of the content on Facebook is video content. And apparently, since it was started, over 3.5 billion people have gone live doing Facebook Lives. What's the point of all these statistics? Lots of people are going live and using Facebook Lives, and they're using it to grow their own personal brands. They're using it to grow their business. They're using it to grow awareness of their organization or their charity. There are loads of different reasons as to why people are doing it. But essentially, one of the reasons, the main reasons that it's taken off and become so popular is it's just a really, really quick and easy and completely free way of having a conversation with your audience. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Why should you do Facebook Lives and how do you get the best out of them? So as you will see, we have a gorgeous guest with us. Emma, tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Emma Worley. I run Gossip Girls Networking and Business Academy, and I run some courses. Rachel has asked me to come on today because I do a course called How to Thrive with Lives. So I'm really passionate about helping people who aren't that confident to go live for the first time and use it for their business.
Yeah, and I was just saying to Emma before we came live, so Liz, who was a mutual friend of ours, so hi Liz if you're watching, she was doing the course last night, she was on the webinar last night, and she said it was excellent, and I've heard other people say that as well, so I think you're genuinely helping people. Simon Daly, who are you?
I'm Simon Daly from Grow Traffic.
Marvellous, there we go, right. So let's crack on with it. We have top 5 tips on how to get the most out of going live for Facebook. So tip number 1, go live to the right place. Now, what do we mean by that? Obviously, it's Facebook Live, so you're going to be going live to Facebook. But if you are going live to a page that has 3 people are on it, you're not going to get a lot out of it. So, Emma, how do people choose where they should be going live, and how do they decide what to do about it? Tell me more about that.
Well, the reason to go live is to expand your audience and to build your relationship with your customers. So you really want to have a good audience there. So you can go live on your page, on your profile, or on your group. A lot of people tend to go live on their group first of all because they find that's a nice stepping stone. But you want to go live to the widest audience. So you want to make sure that you pick the right place as well when you're actually setting it up, because you don't want to go live in the wrong place and then go live on your profile when you wanted to go live in your group. So that's all on the setup. If it's on the computer, then it's on the left-hand side when you're setting up. And if it's on your phone, you actually go into that place and you go live actually on the group. So yes, it's really great if you can schedule your lives and tell people about it to build up that audience about it. So you can schedule lives if you go live on your computer, so people can actually get a reminder that you're going to be going live. Or you can schedule an event so people can get notifications that you're going to go live as well. And just spread the word. Tell everybody about it. If you're going to be giving some really good content, then you want as many people to know. If you are quite new, or maybe you are your audience online isn't as big, you can do guest speaker talks. So like I'm coming on this at the moment, and you can use other people's audiences to build your audience and your presence from going live as well. So that's a really good way to build up your live audience as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point that about scheduling it, because obviously if somebody is following a page or if they're part of a group, when you do start going live, they will get a notification to say it. But if you haven't told them beforehand, you know, they could be busy, they could be doing anything, they haven't got time to watch. And of course, people can watch it back after, because it stays there on the page for anyone to watch afterwards.
Yeah.
But you really want to get the most out of it. You really want those people who are watching and commenting and can engage with you, don't they? So, Dali, how would you recommend people go about building their audience in the first place? If you got any quick tips for building your Facebook audience?
I think one of the things, just leading on from what you both said there, is trying to do it at the same time. You know, schedule when you're going to do it, and let your audience kind of get used to the fact that you do it at 1 p.m. every other Friday. Or, you know, I follow somebody that does it on 5 p.m. on every Tuesday, for example. So I don't, and one of the benefits of that is that I don't necessarily think to myself, I'm going to go out my way to watch it at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Although sometimes I do, but most of the time it's just because it's happening at 5 p.m. I'm already in that mindset. You know, it's familiar, and I think that's an important thing to do. There's loads of different ways that you can grow your audience. You know, getting guest speakers on is a great way of doing it. You tap into their audience and get more people back that way. You can do things on Facebook pages like pay for like campaigns to start building up a more targeted audience that way. All the other things that you do on your own page will help towards that, as long as you're kind of being targeted about it. But yeah, I mean, putting content out consistently and being consistent about the topic or the overall topic is going to be.
I think, yeah, that's a good point, actually, because we obviously do the Shooting the Shit one, which is our feminism and business one that Hannah and I do with some other people. And what we do in that group is so that's on every other Monday, and in the run up the few days beforehand, we will post articles or start conversations about the thing that we're going to talk about in the session, and then afterwards again we'll go back and keep that conversation going. So people, before the live even happens, people are invested in what we're talking about this week. They've already started to share their story, so that's a really good way of, you know, getting people, because then they'll tag their friends and the audience will grow and stuff.
And also what we do here at Grow Traffic is the Monday before the live, we create a blog post about that topic that we'll cover on the live. We had an email that went out, a newsletter went out to remind people about it, as well as all the kind of showing it on all the different groups and things.
So yeah, it's like any other event, isn't it? You know, yes, of course you could do it spontaneously and see who turns up, but the best way to do it is properly schedule it and invite people and get people interested and create a bit of a buzz. Okay, so that's number one.
It depends whether you're building a brand for a business or whether you're building a personal brand, because a personal brand might be much more on the fly. Whereas with a business brand, you tend to need to be a bit more strategic and thought out about how you're going to do it, how you can present it, what your topics are going to be.
Yeah, I've seen that.
People who are starting off as well need to remember you might not have that many people at first on your live, and that's okay, because the majority of people watch on the replay. So don't worry if you get, 5 people on that first live that you do. That's fine, because it's all about exposure. People will still see it anyway, and you can get 200, 300, and high to the 1,000 numbers after you've actually gone live. And that's the good thing about it. A live just isn't for that period of time. It lasts and people can watch it. Like Dali was saying, I might not even watch it at 5 o'clock, but at least it's there, and it adds to that little exposure in your mind. It's that person's doing that, so you remember.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, we get multiple hundreds of people will watch these back afterwards, whereas it's only a kind of handful of people that will watch them live. So yeah, absolutely. Don't get disheartened by that. Okay, so number 1, go live to the right place. Point number 2, have something interesting to say. Now, this sounds really bloody obvious, doesn't it? But I have watched a couple of people go live and they haven't really had anything to say. And what you end up then is that they just kind of stumble through it, or they haven't quite kind of planned it. They haven't really got a point to what they're doing. They just sort of come on and ramble. And you only get one chance to make that first impression, don't you? So if you are going live and somebody's watched it and it was crap, then they're probably not going to come back and watch you again. So it's really important that you do a bit of planning and have something important to say. Emma, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's good to, obviously have a good topic that you want to give value to people for. Make some notes and have it as little bullet points, so that because we can easily ramble and go off on a tangent and things like that. But if we've got our bullet points, we know how to rein it back and keep people focused, because you don't want to bore people. Also, you want to like pick a intriguing title as well. Don't just call it, I'm going live. Say the topic, and make it intriguing, maybe a question, something that people would see pop up and say, oh yeah, I want to know about that. And also your title can get found as well on the search, so that's good to do that as well, so make that quite interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dali, we've when we first started going live with these Facebook Lives, which we've been doing for almost a year now with the Grow Traffic ones, we did at first, they were kind of 45 minutes to an hour, weren't they? And what we found was we were actually pretty much most of the time just rambling, and we could cut that down to half an hour and keep the bullet points. So the difficulty then, though, is reining you in, isn't it, Dali?
Yeah, do you know what? I think there's still a place for those. They were a different kind of Facebook Live. I think these are the Facebook Lives that we do now. Now we're starting talking about our own Facebook Live. These kind of 5 points are actionable tips, and they're good in that respect. I think there is a place for talking to an expert and just drawing out conversations and finding things. But most people, when they do Facebook Lives, are going to go live by themselves. We're probably a bit different in the way that we set it up compared to a lot of other people. But be strategic, I think, is the key thing. Have a plan, decide what you're going to talk about, and it's like we say to clients that we do things like blogging for and social media for. You all know what you need to communicate to your customers on the face of it, but if you try to do that without a plan, you'll end up just doing the same thing over and over again. So you've got to think in kind of months ahead to understand what you're going to do. But I mean, the other thing is I suppose the other thing is be interesting as well, and make it interesting for your audience. And I think I've been saying for years that Grow Traffic needs to do video work and all the rest of it. And I've tried a few times and I've not been able to make it work. And Rachel has really taken hold of the kind of Facebook Lives. And I think part of it is, her personality lends itself to this kind of format as well.
All right, what are you angling for?
No, I'm just saying.
A weekend off doing the hoovering or something. No, I think it's a really good point, actually, and it is. If you don't plan it, if you don't have a strategy, as Emma said, if you don't have a kind of bullet points of things that you're going to cover, it'll just go off topic. It'll ramble exactly the same as a blog or any other piece of content. Stick to the point. Keep it as short as it needs to be, and make sure you are giving somebody something. And there are absolutely multiple ways of doing that. You could do an interview format. You could just go live on your own and talk about it, but make sure it's contributing something useful and it's not just you on a big ego trip, basically. So number one, go live
unless it's about your personal brand, when a big ego trip might be the right way to go about things.
Sometimes having something that you're really passionate about and the passion like rises, and then you want to kind of get it off your chest. It does actually go with your personal brand, because people can resonate a lot more with that. So it's not necessarily an ego trip, but if you want to kind of get something out and get people's opinions, that is quite good to go live on.
Yes, it is. You're right. And I think as well, being a bit personal and vulnerable, that's the whole point of these, isn't it? Is that you're letting somebody a little bit into your life and not having always a polished veneer across your brand. And I think that does work particularly well if you're going to drop your guard for a little bit and just have a really open and honest conversation with your audience. They then have that opportunity to engage with you on a personal level, don't they? So yeah, that can work. Okay, I'm going to move us on. Point number one, go live to the right place. Make sure you've got the right page and you've got your audience there. Number two, have something interesting to say. It should go without saying, but it really doesn't. Number three, ensure people can contribute to you and to your live. Now, Emma, why does this matter?
Well, it really matters because it has to be engaging for people. It's, you know, it's like having a two-way conversation. If it's just a one-way conversation, people feel like they're being talked at. And this is quite nice because when you're in a kind of interview situation or a discussion, it's quite nice to be a part of it. But if you are just talking to the camera on your own, you really want to engage those people in the comments by asking questions, by asking opinions and thoughts about things. And it's got to be like conversational things. I find it really jarring when people say, just put a 1 in the comments if you think this, or type yes, because it's so generic and it's clickbait basically. So just asking like normal conversational questions that you would ask is a really nice way to do it. And yeah, that's because the idea is building up a relationship. If you're just talking at somebody, then where is the relationship being built?
Also, if you're just talking at somebody, you probably should have done that as a video and then just put the video live. You know, the whole purpose of doing a Facebook Live is so that you can get interaction, so that people can talk to you as well. Otherwise, yeah, just do a video and post that on your Facebook or to your YouTube channel. Dali, anything to ask?
Anything to ask or anything to add?
Anything to say? I got distracted then because Liz has put a comment in the box saying that I talk a lot of sense and always have lots to say, which I think is her nice way of saying that I ramble on incessantly.
You know what? what I was going to say. I was going to talk about Liz actually. That Liz, I think, is our #1 fan when it comes to the Facebook Live. She always tends to be here and she always contributes, and it's always a bit of a two-way thing. I mean, she's not here every time, but she's here a lot of the time. And it's not just Liz. There's quite a few people that kind of regularly come to see what we're talking about. And
yeah, Katie's there as well. Katie Wakelin, she comes here very often.
I can't see them. Rachel can. And the secret is that there's normally 3 of us involved in the Facebook Live. So there's normally 2 of us on the lives and 1 of us in the and another one in the comment section answering things at the same time. So I've given the game away there.
Yeah, just a quick question though. Do you think, Emma, that it's better? Some people put the comments up, and you can do that if you're using StreamYard or BeLive, don't you? You can have the comments so that they appear on the screen. Do you think that's better for people? Hello, Pussycat.
I think it is quite interesting sometimes. Not all comments, like say a comment saying hi Nikki or hello, you know, obviously you don't want to put all those up. But yeah, it is interesting. If somebody's got a question, then people are visual as well as auditory, so it is quite good to do that, and it does add that touch of professionalism in there, doesn't it?
You know what, I can find this a bit frustrating actually, because I've been on a few YouTube lives and Facebook lives and things like that where the questions are popping up from people, and they're obviously questions that they selected, but I'm thinking I want to ask, you know, I've asked a question but mine never gets answered. Maybe that says more about me actually.
Yeah, it's another ego trip, isn't it, Simon Daly? Okay, right, moving us on. #1, go live to the right place and make sure you've got your audience. #2, have something interesting to say. #3, ensure people can contribute. It needs to be a two-way conversation between you and your audience. Point #4, be upbeat. Now, this is different to point #2, have something interesting to say. This is about kind of how you present it. And, you know, again, it does sound really obvious, but if you've got someone just talking at the camera like this, it's really off-putting. So again, you know, think about your presentation style. Emma, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of have to think about it, like just turning up your personality a notch, because on camera, if you just act like you're doing a normal everyday, like you're talking to your husband in the kitchen, it's a bit more boring than what you want to project across on camera when you're live. You really want to be more magnetizing to the audience. So if you turn yourself up a notch, then that's more interesting. And having a bit more of a sing-song voice, so it can be engaging to people as well. I think that's really important. Yeah, because you just don't want to bore people, do you? And you want to keep them for longer on the live.
I think that's exactly the point. I mean, you don't want to be like one of those YouTubers, do you? They're like turned them up to the max all the time. But the point, and it's a really important point I think about Facebook Lives, is people can leave really easily. You know, if you were doing a webinar or you were doing a video or whatever, you know, that people are invested in it, they're there, they're going to sit there. Probably if you bore the pants off them, they've signed up to the webinar, they're still going to sit there and listen to you. Whereas on a Facebook Live, all they need to do is scroll up a bit and your video's gone and their attention is somewhere else and they're not going to come back. So you've really got to keep it moving, keep it going, keep the interest up, and like you say, be interesting as a person.
There's a point on this as well that I want to bring up is, you know, the first part of the live, and not many people are on it. A lot of people sit there and they're like, I'll just wait for some people to come on, and I'm just waiting, and that can just automatically say, well, I'm not waiting. You know, if you're a viewer, you don't have time to wait. You know, you're scrolling along. So even the people on the replay see that. So it is important to start talking straight away and start engaging as if they're on replay, even though, you know, people might take 3 minutes to actually join you live.
There's a really, really good point, actually, because I've started watching people's videos back, and you know, on the replay, and you've just got, oh, I'll just wait a bit longer. I think I ain't got time for this. I'm scrolling up, I'm gone. But yeah, because if you're watching it back, as we said before, most people are watching it back, so they will see it from the beginning. So yeah, don't just sit there waiting. And it undervalues the people who have turned up on time as well, doesn't it? It makes them feel like they're worthless. Dali, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I think you're right. Presentation's important, of course, and I think, like I've said before, you're really good at this, Rachel. This is, you know, you're really strong when it comes to these kind of lives. And
something, isn't it?
They take a bit of you know, because I think I'm not a kind of on the spot thinker, if you like. I tend to take things away and think about them long term and kind of ponder over things a little bit before I kind of construct my arguments a little bit. And so I think it's important to just to play to your strengths when you're doing these things and work out what you're going to say beforehand, or, you know, practice things like that.
Absolutely true. Okay, right. So 5 tips.
It would help if I read the questions first as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? He does this every single week. So as you know, Emma, if you come on here as a guest, we have a WhatsApp group. Usually on the Tuesday before the one on the Friday, I will put in the things that we're going to cover on the Friday session so that everyone has time to think about them. He always turns up to the session and says, what are we talking about? I don't know. Every time without fail. But anyway, right. So
Facebook thing, maybe.
We get there.
We get there.
So what number are we up to?
Right, we're up to number 5. So number 1.
Better be quick. We've only got 5 minutes to go.
No, go live to the right place. Number 2, have something interesting to say. Number 3, ensure people can contribute. Make sure it's a two-way conversation. Number 4, be upbeat. Have some personality. You've got to work hard to keep people's attention with a Facebook Live, so make sure you're doing it. And number 5, practice equals progress. So go on, Emma, tell me about this one.
Okay, so we came to this one because, first of all, we were talking about, is it a good idea to get people to review your lives? But really, you're going live to your target audience, and we don't really want to ask people that are just friends and family and things like that, because they're not really our target audience. That is not who we want to appeal for. Just going live is a step forward. I've got a membership group, and there was a lady in there, and she's done a guest speaker talk today, and it was her first live actually, and she said it was less nerve-wracking than I thought it would be. And just taking those steps over the threshold of doing the tech and doing the title and things like that, it is progress, and each time you do it, you get more progress. You know, you may be taking some tweaks and things like that. So yeah, practice makes progress. You're not going to be perfect, and nobody is perfect ever. You know, we're not perfect doing this today, you know, and literally perfect is like a unicorn. It doesn't really exist. So you don't have to say, you know, oh, I'll do it when I'm perfect, because it's never going to happen. Just make some progress.
Yeah, I mean, when we, as I say, we started doing these almost a year ago now, exactly a year ago. And what we were doing then is very different to what we're doing now. The Friday Facebook Live has evolved over that time. We've tried different things. We've realised what did work and what didn't work. You know, we still in a year of doing it haven't had a single one where somebody's Wi-Fi hasn't dropped out or they've been kicked off or something's happened. There is no such thing as perfect. And you know, again, like today, as you said, you know, we're talking over each other. There was a bit of a lag on the Wi-Fi at one point. People are not watching a Facebook Live because they expect perfect. They're absolutely not. They're understanding. And I think, to be honest, that's part of its charm, isn't it? That it is that kind of accessibility and that genuine conversation with somebody. Dali, what do you think?
Yeah,
go on, Emma. Did you have something to add?
If you think about live TV, we all love a bit of live TV, and anything can happen on live TV, and we love it, you know. Yeah. And it's okay to laugh at ourselves as well. You know, we are human. If we were robots and we were just stood there being robotic and delivering a speech, then yeah, if it went wrong, you would send the robot back. But we're human, and we're okay to make mistakes, and people find it endearing as well. You know, how much do we actually love the bloopers from live TV? And so when you're live, it doesn't make, if something happens, it doesn't make you look stupid. It's just life.
Yes,
and that's what happens.
And I think that the important thing is, you know, really don't be embarrassed about that. Just don't. It's going to happen to everybody, even the most professional people that go live. They will stumble over words, or they'll forget what they were talking about, or their Wi-Fi will drop out or something. It's just about picking yourself up and saying, all right, you know, that happened. That was a bit annoying, wasn't it? Let's carry on and keep going. Yeah, really important. Dali?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think I've ever done any form of public speaking or radio or TV in which I've not stumbled over my words or not been able to get a sentence out. In fact, whenever I'm preparing a speech, I always write kind of more words and more text than I need, because I know at some point I'll forget what I'm going to say and have to kind of move myself along a little bit. That's always one of my tips. I'm really sure.
And that's the thing. Even if you know,
I'm a trier.
You're very trying. You're very trying. Yeah, I've got a page of notes here, and some of the things on there we got round to covering. Some of them we have. Some things we've added, and you know, added more points to it. So that's absolutely right. You know, it's about having the confidence to just say, do you know what? Let's just give it a whirl. If the first one's a disaster, I've learned what not to do. Let's have another go at it and do it again, and just keep trying. People are very understanding, and they're very patient, aren't they, in terms of the audience members? So they will forgive you for making little mistakes. So just go. Okay, right. So that's it. We're coming up to the end of time. Top 5 tips, how to get the best out of your Facebook Lives. Number 1, go live to the right place. Choose your page or your group. It doesn't matter, but make sure you've got a bit of an audience there who you're talking to. Number 2, have something interesting to say. Don't just go live and talk about, you know, I went on a nice walk and nothing happened. Make sure there's a point to it, and keep it short and to the point and interesting. Number 3, ensure that people can contribute. It genuinely needs to be a two-way conversation. Otherwise, just do a video and put it live. There's no point doing a live. Number 4, be upbeat. People are going to scroll and they're going to go off, and if you don't keep their attention, you've lost them and they're not coming back. So keep the momentum going, keep it to the point, keep people's attention. And number 5, practice equals progress. Do not wait for it to be perfect, because it will never be perfect. Just bloody do it. Emma, anything to add? Final thoughts?
I think it's been some brilliant tips here. If anybody does need some extra help, I do run a course on it. With the practice making progress one, with the course, we have a course group. So you can actually go live within the group in front of like the course people. So it's not in front of your audience. So it's a nice practice stepping stone for that as well. But I think, the main thing is to try it and do it. If you've got any questions, you can have, my inbox is open, you can ask me about it. But it's been a great, concise tips that we've gone through today. It's been great.
Brilliant. Yes. Well, please, Emma, after this, please go and put your contact details in. So if anyone does want to ask a question or find out more about your course, then as I say, we will keep our eye on the comments as well. So if you are watching it back later and you have a question or you want to find out more, go to the comments. We'll keep reading. We will still answer them. Simon Daly, final point.
I don't think I've got any more points of it. Develop your own unique sign-off. What about that?
Oh, God. Yeah, let's not go into that now.
Can I do it now?
Go on, do your sign off. Go on.
Have we finished?
We're nearly finished.
Say goodbye. All right. No. My unique sign off is keep going and keep growing.
Yes, and we are riotously taking the piss out of him for that one. There we go. Thank you so much to both of you for your time. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. I hope you found this useful. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. Don't know what we're talking about. We'll find out when we get there.
Bye, everybody.
We're going to keep waiting.